Students, good morning everyone. Fine. In yesterday's NEET exam, for one question, the key was given wrong. That is, in which of the following interaction both partners are adversely affected? Okay. For that question, the correct answer is competition. But in the key, it has been given as predation. Predation, one will be benefited, another one will be harmed. Okay. Then both the partners are adversely affected in the sense, then it will for be competition. Okay. So that alone, the key, I think there was a mistake in the key. Remaining questions are correct. Some questions has been repeated in the discussion part we discussed on that day, right? Okay, fine. So we'll continue with the biodiversity chapter. So under this biodiversity, that day we were discussing about the patterns, right? Patterns of biodiversity. So under this patterns of biodiversity, we discussed in the two important patterns. One is about the latitudinal pattern. I gave you some examples how the biodiversity is greatest in the tropical region when compared to the temperate and polar region, right? The second important pattern what we discussed that day is species area relationship. So the person Alexander von Humboldt, while exploring the South American jungles, he observed that the species richness species increased with increasing explored area, but only up to a limit. I gave you an equation, S is equal to C. Based on this, he plotted a graph which had this rectangular hyperbola. Again, he just changed the equation into logarithmic form. Under logarithmic form, he got the straight line, right? That is a linear line. Fine. I told you some conclusion I have to give you based on this patterns of biodiversity. We'll discuss on that. Then we can move on to the next topic, loss of biodiversity. Yes, students, are you ready? Our coming week biology portion is biodiversity chapter, ma. Biodiversity chapter, I will finish it off before Wednesday or Thursday. You can start reading the things what I have taught already. Fine? Yeah. Yes, so regarding to this patterns of biodiversity, the final conclusion thing. This is the conclusion part of the two different patterns of biodiversity we discussed. That is latitudinal pattern and the species area relationship. Finally, the conclusion is relationship between species diversity and ecosystem. So what is the relationship between species diversity and ecosystem? Okay, fine. So some conclusions were given by the ecologist. Most of the ecologists believe these things, and we are going to discuss what are the conclusions given by the ecologist. Okay, so ecologists believe that. So what do you mean by ecologist? The person who study about ecology or ecosystem is, so they are called as the ecologist. So ecologist, as a result, finally they believe that I'll give you 4 points regarding to this relationship between species diversity and ecosystem. The first one is the community which is having more species are stable than the community with lesser species. Okay, so this is the first conclusion point. Communities. Communities means the biological community. Okay, community, you know, it includes the living organisms and interaction between the living organisms, biology community. So the communities with more species. The communities with more species are more stable. Why more stable? That's why in the starting, when we are studying about the 3 different levels of biodiversity, I told you ecology biodiversity is the stable one. And in this ecology also, the gamma diversity is the stable one. Why? Because when you are going like studying about the diversity of organisms of an entire geographical area, there you can see different types of species, right? So always the community with more species are more stable than the community with less species or lesser species. Okay, so this is the first conclusion point. Then the second conclusion point is the stable community means when you are talking about a community as a stable one, Then, for example, I will tell you, you can say tropical region as a stable community. That day we discussed the three reasons, right? Out of those three reasons, I gave you one of the important reason. The tropical region have lesser variation, right? So that is the second point. The stable community, the one which is stable, right? The community which you consider as a stable one always means lesser variation. Stable community means they will have lesser variations. Lesser variations in the productivity. Lesser variations in the productivity from year to year. There will not be drastic increase or drastic decrease in the productivity of that particular community, which means it represents lesser variation. This is the second point. Okay. Now the third one is the community which is having more species. No, that community is highly resistant to natural or man-made disturbances. Natural disturbances like natural calamities like earthquake, landslide, flood, cyclone, tsunami, etc. Man-made disturbances. Man-made disturbances means because of pollution, the community will get degraded, right? So the community with more species will be highly resistant to all disturbances. That is the third point. The community with more species. With more species is the stable one. Yes, the community with more species is more resistant. You know what do you mean by resistant? While studying this logistic growth and exponential growth, I gave you one term, right? Environmental resistance. Okay. The community with more species is more resistant to occasional disturbances. So what do you mean by this occasional disturbance here? It represents both natural disturbances and also man-made. In bracket, you can write natural and man-made disturbances. Natural and man-made disturbances, right? So that particular community will be resistant to all these disturbances. So it can sustain freely, fine. And the last conclusion point is these community, the stable community are resistant to the communities which are stable or more or with more species. The community with more species or the stable one. When it is having more species, then it is the most stable one, right? It is also resistant to invasion by who will invade? Alien species or exotic species. It is more resistant to alien species or exotic species. The new species which is being introduced in that particular community, no, it will not affect the population of other species because the community with more species will be the stable one and resistant one to invasion by alien or exotic species. Okay. So these are the four important conclusion points that is given based on the relationship between species diversity and ecosystem by the different ecologists. So ecologists, when they are doing research on this ecosystem or this different community, finally they concluded these 4 points. Okay. And among these ecologists, a very important person was there who gave his concept that is called as David Tillman. So this is a very important neat question. David Tillman, he was a famous ecologist. Okay. In his very long-term experiments on ecology or ecosystem, finally he found and gave us one concept that is plots with more species showed less year-to-year variation. Again, the same point, less variation. Okay. Year-to-year variation in what? Variation in what? Variation in total biomass. You know what do you mean by biomass, students? The amount of carbohydrate food synthesized by plants. That is called as the biomass. In total biomass and the increased diversity contributed to higher productivity. Increased diversity contributed to higher productivity. You just think Tropical region, that day I told you tropical region will have good penetration of sunlight. When sunlight penetration is very good, then the source of sunlight will be used by the plants, which are called as producers for the photosynthesis process. Once producers are found to be abundant in a particular environment, then obviously the primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, up to your top consumers will be very good. Also, the decomposers present in the soil will also be very good. Okay, so producers are the basic organisms which should be present in a community. If producers if no number of producers are there, species are there, then obviously the other species will also be followed up by in a good manner. Okay, so this is what the concept of David Tillman. He plots with more species showed less variation in total biomass and increased diversity contributed to higher productivity. Increased diversity means the biodiversity of that particular environment is high, which is contributed to higher productivity. That is more production. Production is done by the plants. More productivity will be there. Okay, that's all. That's all about your patterns of biodiversity. So after discussing that latitudinal pattern and species area relationship, you have to conclude this pattern of the biodiversity with this relationship between species diversity and ecosystem, the 4 points given by the famous ecologist who have done research in the ecology. And among those ecologists, one of the famous person is David Tillman. Okay, he also gave one statement regarding to the relationship with species diversity and ecosystem, and this is what that statement. Okay, you just copy down all these things, ma. Yeah, wait, I'll show you the first slide. So this is the first slide. You just copy the first slide, then we can move on to the next topic, loss of biodiversity. Mostly by Wednesday, I will complete this chapter, ma. Biodiversity chapter will get over mostly by Wednesday. Okay. So you can start reading the already taught topics. Already we have done some levels of biodiversity is over. Then number of species on Earth, number of species in India, patterns of biodiversity. Today we will complete loss of biodiversity and causes for the loss of biodiversity also. Okay. Up to this you can read. As like tomorrow and day after tomorrow, I will complete the remaining thing. Okay. Have you all copied? Right. Now, the next topic, what we are going to see is loss of biodiversity. So, loss in the sense here, we have lost some species. That is the species of plants and animals which have got extinct. Okay. So, that is what we call it as the loss of biodiversity. There is continuous loss of this. Actually, biodiversity is considered to be earth treasure. Okay, treasure means the plant species and animal species are considered to be the earth treasure, and there is continuous loss of earth treasure of species. For example, I will tell you how we have lost the biodiversity. The colonization, no, because of colonization. You know what do you mean by colonization? Simply, that is urbanization. Okay, so people making the forest area into agricultural land or forest area into residential areas, or they are undergoing deforestation for industrialization. All these can be called as colonization. Okay, so colonization of tropical Pacific islands. Colonization of tropical Pacific islands by human. Because of this colonization of tropical Pacific islands by human, it has led to the extinction. It has led to the extinction of, because of doing this colonization in this particular environment called as tropical Pacific islands, that colonization process has led to extinction of more than 200 species of Native birds. Native birds means the birds which are said to be which are said to be present in this tropical Pacific islands, and it is the original habitat of these organisms. So once, like when people started doing this colonization, because of deforestation and this industries, residential areas, agricultural land and all, it has led to the extinction of about more than 200 species of birds have become extinct in this tropical Pacific islands due to this colonization. Okay. And IUCN, already I told you, IUCN will give the red data list. Red data list. And in this red data list, it has been documented that there has been extinction of 784 species have been extincted in the last 500 years. In the last 500 years, 784 species have been extincted. It has been documented in this red data list given by IUCN. Okay. Extinction of 784 species in the last 500 years. And in this last 500 years, the last 20 years, the last 20 years have witnessed the disappearance or extinction of, disappearance, that is totally disappearance, totally extincted. Okay. Witness the disappearance of about 27 species. 27 species have been extincted in the last 20 years alone. Okay. So in the last 20 years, many extinction, like so much of extinction has been occurring because of this colonization, industrialization, urbanization, and then like cutting down forest for making them into agricultural land, all those things. So I will give you some important examples. We cannot see, it is not needed to read all the 27 species of these in the last 20 years. I'll give you some important examples in this 27 species that has been extincted. Okay. Some important examples of recent extinction. So if you want to know all the 27 species, you just download the red data book list will be there available in the internet. Okay. You can open that. It is freely accessible. You can open that and you can read the list of all the 27 species if you are interested. Fine. Otherwise, for your NCERT board and also for the NEET, these examples are enough and they are very, very important too. Sure, you will get one question from this topic, some important examples of recent extinction in the last 20 years among the 27 species. Okay. I'll list down some important species. Dodo. This is one species which has been extincted and it is in Mauritius. Dodo from Mauritius, and then quagga. Quagga from Africa, and then thylacine. Thylacine, this is from Australia. Right. And then the next one is stellar sea cow, Russia. Then many subspecies of tiger. You know what is subspecies? I told you the biological name of tiger is Panthera tigris. Okay. Under the tigris species, we have so many subspecies. Like I will give you some example. Subspecies of tiger. Tiger, like I'll give you some. Bali, Javan, Caspian, etc. Like you have so many species. Okay. So when writing this, these names and all, how they will mention Panthera tigris Bali, Panthera tigris Javan, Panthera tigris Caspian. Subspecies will be added as a third name. Okay. If they want to represent in the form of trinomial nomenclature, including the subspecies. Otherwise, generally you can say Panthera tigris. Panthera tigris is common for all subspecies of tiger. Fine. So this is enough. These are said to be the 5 like some important examples of recent extinction. Okay. You just copy, I'll show you the third. You just copy this fourth one, then I will show you the third slide. Finish copying these examples. Shall I show the third slide? Copy this third one. Yes, ma'am. Finish writing third and fourth. Yes, let me continue with the loss of biodiversity. So just now we discussed some important extinction of species that has been occurred in the last 20 years, right? And presently, I will tell you the present situation, how many species are in the stage of extinction, okay? Presently, more than 15,500 species. More than 15,500 species worldwide. This is not only in India, okay? Worldwide, more than 15,500 species are facing the threat to extinction or the threat of extinction, which means they are in the danger situation, right? So immediately steps have to be taken to conserve these organisms, or else these 15,500 species will become extinct. So they are in the threatening condition. They are facing the threat of extinction. So in this 15,500 species, what are the most important organisms that are in the list? Okay. So this 15,500 species, no, it includes mostly 32% of them are amphibian species. 32% are amphibian species, 23% of mammalian species, and then some 12% of bird species, okay? And then in coming to plants, 31% of gymnosperms. You know, in plants, no, gymnosperm species are they are facing the threat of extinction very fastly, because under gymnosperms we have very tall trees, no, and mainly the wood that we are using for furniture and all we will take from gymnosperms. At the same time, many medicinal plants are available in gymnosperm species, so we are exploiting this gymnosperm species, and so it is also facing the extinction, okay? Among these, amphibians are in the vulnerable situation. Vulnerable means they should be that is they are going to face the extinction very soon. That is called as vulnerable. The amphibians are said to be more vulnerable, okay? Amphibians are more vulnerable in all these cases. No, compared to angiosperms, gymnosperms are facing the threat to extinction. Yeah, threat to extinction means they are said to be endangered situation. Endangered situation means they are about to extinct. So when species are listed down in the endangered list, immediately conservation, we will start conserving the organism by, suppose if it is a plant, we will collect the pollens or some way seed banks, okay? Or through plant tissue culture, we will start the breeding of those organisms. If it is an animal, we will collect the population of the organisms, remaining population of organisms, and we will allow for interbreeding, fast interbreeding or cloning. Something will be done so that the population will be increased. Amphibians are more vulnerable in the sense because amphibians are they are said to be like when compared to other organisms, amphibians, they are cold-blooded organisms. They cannot sustain even if the climatic condition slightly differs. Okay. And also amphibians, they cannot protect themselves from the danger. So they have less ability to protect themselves from the danger. The adaptation is very less in amphibians. That is why they are more vulnerable. Got it? Fine. So the last conclusion point of this loss of biodiversity, from the origin to evolution of Earth. Initially, some millions of years back, there was evolution of life on Earth, right? Have you studied? Actually, you don't have evolution chapter, or else you would have studied this Big Bang theory and then how life originated in universe, that is in the Earth. So first, they gave so many theories: theory of chemical evolution, theory of organic evolution. So based on evolution of life on Earth, many theories have proposed. So finally, what they are saying, from origin to evolution on Earth, that is approximately, you can say the duration is about, origin of life on Earth was about 3 billion years ago. Okay, 3 billion, not millions, students, billion. 3 billion years, duration about 3 billion years ago. From the origin to evolution of life on Earth till now, we have faced, there have been 5 episodes of mass extinction. 5 episodes of mass extinction. So what do you mean by this episode of extinction, right? Episode of extinction means usually extinction occurs slowly. Sometimes there will be mass extinction. Extinction means many species will get extinct in a particular period of time. For example, you can say there was one period which we call it as Jurassic period. So this Jurassic period, no dinosaurs, Archaeopteryx, and many organisms got extincted in that particular period. Okay, big gigantic reptiles and all got extincted. Like this, from the origin to evolution of Earth, there have been 5 episodes of mass extinction. But now at present, okay, but now at present, we are in the 6th mass extinction. Now in the, at present, the 6th mass extinction, no, it is said to be 100 times to 1000 times, 100 times to 1000 times faster than the pre-human extinctions. Okay, so pre-human extinction means like before human being before human beings evolved, there has been 5 episodes of mass extinction, but we are in the 6th mass extinction, which is 100 times to 1000 times faster than the pre-human extinction. So the ecologists have warned us that in the next 100 years, about 50% of all the species on Earth will be wiped out. Okay, so ecologists have warned, or they have given a warning signal. Ecologists warned that in the next 100 years, if we are not properly conserving the organisms, if we are not controlling the air pollution, water pollution, or soil pollution, because of pollution and many anthropogenic activities, about 50% of the species in the next 100 years, about 50% of all the species on Earth. Now at present, the number of species available on Earth, no, in that species, 50% of all the species on Earth will be wiped out. Wiped out means will get extincted. Okay, will be wiped out. Right? So this is a warning given by the ecologists. So we have to be aware of that. And what are the major reasons, the loss in biodiversity? Suppose if there is a loss, okay, if there is an extinction, mass extinction, the loss in biodiversity of a region, what it will lead to? Finally, what it will result in? Okay, the loss in biodiversity of a region leads to what? 3 important things. It will lead to 3 important adverse effects. That is, the first one, it will lower the resistance It will cause us lowered resistance to environmental changes. The loss of biodiversity in a region leads to lowered resistance to environmental changes. And then second thing, it will cause us a decline in the plant production. It will cause us decline in the productivity of the plants. Okay, decline in the plant production. And third one, it will lead to increased variability, because in a stable environment with more species, you will have less variation. Here, increased variations will be there. Increased variations in the ecosystem. Okay, and then there will be disease cycle will occur. Pest disease cycles will occur. Okay, and there will be increased variations in the water use, etc. All these are the drawbacks that will happen if there is a loss in biodiversity of a particular region. Okay, so the loss in biodiversity. The loss in biodiversity of a region will lead to lower resistance to because the stable environment with more number of species will have higher resistance to environmental change. But when there is biodiversity loss, no, the resistance will get lowered, and then there will be decline in the plant production. There will be increased variation in the ecosystem that may lead to pest disease cycle, water use, etc. Okay, that's all about loss of biodiversity. I'll show you the loss of biodiversity slides from the beginning. So this is where we started the loss of biodiversity, ma. From third slide, I will show you all the slides. So next we are going to see what are the causes for the loss of biodiversity. Okay, so we are telling like organisms taking place in a very drastic manner in the last 20 years. Okay. Similarly, like what are the most important reasons that are leading to the loss of biodiversity? Yeah, of course, suppose if the organisms are like listed in the endangered list, if we start conserving the organisms immediately, we can protect the organisms from conservation. Whether it is plant or animal, it is not a problem. Okay. This is fifth one. Sixth slide. Seventh one. Fine. So next we can discuss what are the causes of loss of biodiversity. So in the introduction part, I told you we are going to discuss some 4 important reasons or 4 important causes for the loss of biodiversity, and those 4 reasons together they are called as evil quartet. Okay. So there is some actually the extinction, species extinction, no, it is mainly due to human activities, right? So the accelerated means something which is induced, okay, which is not occurring naturally. It is because of some induced. Okay, so the accelerated rate of species extinction, is mainly largely due to human activities. When you are saying something because of human activities, you can use a word called as anthropogenic. Okay, so if you use the word called as anthropogenic, it represents human activity. Okay, so because of human activities means you can say conversion into agricultural land, conversion into residential area, for the like construction of industries, factories. Okay, all these, or else like causing pollution. All these will come under this anthropogenic activities, which is leading to the most species extinction. So the accelerated rate means which is occurring so fastly because of the induction of human activities of species extinction. So there are four major causes for this loss of biodiversity, and these four major causes are together called as evil quartet. So these four major causes for loss of biodiversity. So this is a very important 5-mark question in this chapter, ma. So what are the four major causes of loss of biodiversity? The first one is the very important one, and the foremost one is habitat loss and fragmentation. Biodiversity loss is because of habitat loss and fragmentation. Okay, so these causes, no, the four causes, I'm not talking only about human activity. Generally, I'm saying the four major causes for the loss of biodiversity. Among this, the first foremost one is habitat loss and fragmentation. The second one is overexploitation, overgrazing, or like overfishing, whatever it is. Okay, overexploitation. And third one is invasion of foreign species, that we call it as alien species or exotic species. Invasion of foreign organisms to introducing in a habitat. And the last one is co-extinction. In mutualism concept, we discussed co-evolution, right? That co-evolution there, I told you, if two organisms is there in a relationship of co-evolution, if one organism got extinct, the other one which is totally dependent, no, it will also become extinct. In that case, it is called as co-extinction. So these are the four main reasons or four major causes for the loss of biodiversity. So these four causes are called as evil quartet. These four major causes are called as evil quartet. Okay, evil means something which is danger. And quartet is four. Quar is four. It representing the four major causes. So the four major causes for the loss of biodiversity is together called as evil quartet. Now we are going to discuss this one by one. Habitat. First one, we can start discussing about the habitat loss and fragmentation. Put down the first cause for loss of biodiversity, that is habitat loss and fragmentation. Because the animals or species or plants which are losing their habitat, they are getting extincted, right? So this is majorly because of cutting down the trees and burning of forest. Cutting trees, which we call it as deforestation, and also burning of forest. Suppose if they want to convert a forest area into an agricultural land, they will just burn the forest. Okay. So this cutting trees and burning of forest, it will destroy the, what happens? Some organisms will be like present in the particular habitat, right? So because of destroying this forest area, it destroys the cutting trees and burning of forest, it destroys the natural habitat of certain species. Natural habitat of a species. It destroys the natural habitat of a species, right? So other than this, what are the reasons for this cutting trees and burning of forest? That is mainly, it includes construction of mines. Construction of mines, you know, right? Mines. And then dams, harbor, industries, and then buildings, residential buildings or commercial buildings, that is for meant for human settlement. For human settlement, they will construct buildings and all, right? Yes. So all these are the reasons why they are cutting trees and burning of forest. Okay. So these have also affected the biodiversity. So the first foremost thing for the loss of biodiversity is habitat destruction. When you are destructing a forest area or any other ecosystem, the organisms which are depending on that particular habitat will lose their habitat, and they have to shift to a new habitat. When they are shifting to a new habitat, sometimes they might not able to adapt to the new habitat, and so the species will not involve in reproduction or breeding, and slowly the population of the organism will decrease, and finally in one stage it will face the endangered situation, or sometimes it may become extinct also. So habitat destruction is the major reason. It is the very important reason. Among the four causes, this habitat destruction, no, that is the major reason for loss of biodiversity. It is the primary reason, and also it is the major reason for the loss of biodiversity. Okay. For this, I just want to give you one example, something that has happened in the forest region that has led to the habitat loss. Okay, the well known is the tropical rainforest. Destruction of tropical rainforest is a very good example for the habitat loss, where in this tropical rainforest, the forest actually before this destruction of tropical rainforest, the forest area covering, no, the forest covering land area has been reduced. Now at present, I will tell you this tropical rainforest is nothing but your Amazonian rainforest, okay, has been reduced from 14% of land surface, 14% of land surface of this tropical rainforest. Now it has been reduced to 6%. 8% has been destructed because of this, all these activities, okay. So from 14%, now the tropical rainforest area land surface has been reduced to 6%, right? So the Amazon rainforest, which we call it as the lungs of the planet, Amazon rainforest, commonly called as the lungs of the planet or lungs of the earth, right? So this already we discussed, in this Amazon rainforest, millions of species has been present, okay, and this harbors millions of species has been being cleared. So when Amazon rainforest, no, so many species got extincted, for millions of species have been cleared, is being cleared for the purpose of, for cultivating soybean. Cultivating soybean, also for developing grasslands. Grasslands will be for what purpose? For the cattle organisms to graze, right? For raising cattle. Because cattle organisms, their major food is grassland, right? So for developing grasslands for raising cattle, they have cleared, like millions of species have been cleared because of cultivating soybean or developing grasslands for raising cattle. And pollution is also one of the major factor for the degradation of habitat, okay. When the, because of human activities, pollution which is caused by the automobile exhaust, industrial exhaust, all these things, that is also a major factor for the degradation of the habitat of organisms. And what do you mean by fragmentation? Fragmentation is when large habitat like a biodiversity hotspot or forest or something, very big forest, you know, these habitats are broken into small fragments, broken into small pieces or small fragments. They will divide this large habitat into smaller area. This will be done due to various human activities. Now you can see in so many places they have occupied this the human, they, what they will do, they will clear the particular ecosystem and they will divide into plot and they will just sell it, okay. So due to various human activities, the large habitats are broken down into small fragments, right? And then it may also, this will relate to the population of, due to various human activities, also due to the population of migratory animals. It will also occur due to the migratory animals, mammals and birds, okay. So because of this human activities, when large habitats are broken down into fragments, all these consequences will occur. The animals which are present in that particular habitat, they will migrate. Migrate means they will move to new place. Also the mammals and birds, okay? So they require a large area. When large habitat are broken down into fragments, they cannot survive in that particular area, and so they will shift to new habitat, and this mammals and birds, all these will happen. The population of migratory animals, mammals and birds which require larger territory no are adversely affected. These organisms population will be adversely affected because of this habitat broken down into fragment. This is what we call it as fragmentation. That's why the name of the process is called as fragmentation. Okay, so the first cause is over. In the evil quartet, the first cause is over. I'll show you all this habitat loss of fragmentation notes. So this is the causes of loss of biodiversity, ma. Introduction. This is the second one, habitat loss and fragmentation slide. All are just theory part, okay? So don't worry, like only some concepts need to be memorized in this biodiversity. Remaining all or theory what you have studied in your smaller classes. You know about deforestation, global warming, everything. That is, you have to correlate everything, right? The day itself, I told you, the next chapter after this is human reproduction and reproductive health. I'll complete reproduction unit. Fine. Now, the second reason what we are going to see is over-exploitation. You know what do you mean by exploitation? Exploitation itself is dangerous, okay? When coming to over-exploitation, no, it will lead to extinction of many species. That is what we are going to discuss under this. That is when there will be over-exploitation. When human need, when we are in need of something, okay, that need, when it turns to, instead of need, when it turns to greed, you know, greed, parasite, okay. So when human need turns to human greed, for what? For two important things, for food and shelter, then it will lead to over exploitation. This is the major reason for the over-exploitation to occur. When human need changes to human greed and for food and shelter, that will result in over-exploitation of what? Natural resources. Natural resources means everything. It includes biotic factor and also abiotic factor, okay? And many species that have been extincted because of over-exploitation. I will tell you some of the species that has got extinction because of over-exploitation. Like Stella sea cow. Just now I told you in extinction in the last, Stella sea cow in Russia. I gave you this example, right? Recent extinction. And then passenger pigeon. Passenger pigeon, you know, like in olden days, they will use this pigeon for sending the messages from one place to other place, okay? So all these two organisms now got over exploitation because of human activities. Stella sea cow, Russia, passenger pigeon. So in the last, they have been extincted in the last 500 years because of human activities, okay? And many marine fishes, they have been over harvested, overfishing for food. Okay, this is also because of human activity, over harvested for food. And overfishing also, overfishing or over harvesting a product, no, it is like all these over exploitation. It means like killing a goose laying golden eggs. You would have studied that goose with golden eggs, right? That story. That will exactly happen in case of over exploitation. When we are overusing something, it may be a nature or natural resource. In future, that particular resource will get completely exhausted, and future generations will be like they cannot no more enjoy the resource or the nature, okay? So everything, like whatever we are using from nature or natural resource, we should have a limit. We should not exploit it to the extent so that it will result in the extinction of resources and also extinction of species. You just copy this. That's all about over exploitation. Over exploitation is very simple. Now the third reason is invasion of species. That is invasion of exotic species or alien species. Already this we discussed in, I told you in parasitism, right? I told you predation. While talking about predation, I told you because of invasion of exotic species, many indigenous species will be completely exploited or extincted, right? Here, when new species are introduced into an explored area, some of the species present there will it will result in the extinction of indigenous species. Okay, so that is called as invasion of alien species. When alien species or exotic species, that is the foreign species, are introduced into an explored area, some of the species turn invasive. Invasive means they will get invaded, right? Some of the species will get invasive, means it will invade other species, and finally it will cause a decline or extinction of natural species present in them, and their own species are called as indigenous species. The new species introduced in a particular area, it will invade the other species, causing this decline or extinction of indigenous species. I'll give you some examples. All these examples already you have studied. Okay, there I told you, right? Introduction of Nile perch into Lake Victoria. Do you remember? I gave all these examples there. Introduction of Nile perch into Lake Victoria, which is located in East Africa. Lake Victoria is located in East Africa. Because of this introduction of Nile perch into Lake Victoria, it led to extinction of more than 200 species of cichlid fishes in the particular lake. Okay, these cichlid fishes are indigenous species in the Lake Victoria. But because of this introduction of Nile perch in that particular Lake Victoria in East Africa, this led to extinction of more than 200 species of cichlid fishes in the same lake. Okay, so this is one example for invasion of exotic species. And the second example is introduction of, this you have studied in the first unit, that is introduction of weed species. Weed species, say for example, carrot grass. You know what is the biological name of carrot grass? It is Parthenium. Okay. And then weed species such as lantana. This also I gave you there. And then weed species water hyacinth. That is Eichhornia crassipes. Okay. All these introduction. So all these introduction of this carrot grass is an alien species. Lantana is also alien. Water hyacinth is also alien. All these have posed threat to native species in the particular environment, native species, and also they have caused damage to the environment. Okay, now one more example I will give you, that is the illegal introduction of this. You would have studied in articles or seen in Discovery Channel and all, that is African catfish. Introduction of African catfish, right? African catfish, the biological name is Clarias. This also I told you in the predation. Clarias, for this illegal introduction for aquaculture. It threatened the indigenous catfishes. You know, catfishes we used to have in our food as food, right? So those catfishes, indigenous catfishes, no, they got threatened because of the introduction of African catfish, which we call it as clarias. Okay, so all these are examples for the invasion of foreign species. I'll show you this one. Yeah, invasion of exotic species slide. You just copy these two slides of invasion of exotic species, and the last one more thing we have is co-extinction. With this, the causes of loss of biodiversity is over. This is 13th one, and this is 14th one. Please write all the examples, students. Examples are very, very important. Yeah, I will show you all the slides. After completing this co-extinction, I will show you all the slides. Now, the last topic is, last reason in the evil quartet is co-extinction. So what do you mean by co-extinction? If one organism got extinct, the one which is totally dependent on that organism, no, that will also get extinct. So this co-extinction mostly occurs. See, you just write the definition of co-extinction. Whenever a plant or animal species becomes extinct, whenever a plant or animal species become extinct, okay, then it's obligatory. Obligatory means completely dependent, okay. It's obligatory associated. You have studied obligate aerobes, obligate anaerobes, right? If it is an obligate aerobe, in the absence of oxygen, immediately it will die. Similarly, it's obligate associated species. Obligate associated means completely dependent species, no, also becomes extinct. This is what we call it as co-extinction. One species become extinct, its obligatory associated species also becomes extinct. For example, I will tell you, a host becomes extinct if the parasite also meets the same fate. Okay, when a host species becomes extinct, then the parasite, which is completely depending on that particular organism, also meets the same fate. That is also, it will also becomes extinct. Okay, this is one example. Another, that is, for this, I can tell you, plant pollinator mutualism is a very good example. Plant pollinator mutualism. So you can say, I gave you two examples for co-evolution. One is fig wasp. Another one is bee, honeybee and ophrys plant. Okay. So this is one very good example. Plant pollinator mutualism. One is fig and female wasp. This is one example for co-evolution. Other one is ophrys. Ophrys with bees. These are example for co-evolution, which can come under the example for co-extinction. If the fig plant become extinct, then the wasp, which is dependent on fig, that will also become extinct, that particular species. Similarly, ophrys and the species of bees. So I told you the petals of the flower will be like looking like the female bee, and the male bee will sit over it for sexual pseudocopulation, that is the sexual descent. Okay, so in case of co-evolution, this co-extinction will occur. Got it? That's all. So these are the four important major reasons for the loss of biodiversity, which we call them as evil quartet. Okay. So when they are asking this question in 5 marks, you have to write first of all what is loss of biodiversity. Then you have to say what are the reasons, 4 reasons, and you have to explain each one of them separately. Okay, fine. Now I will show you the last few minutes. I'll show you from this first one, slides from the beginning. You just take a snapshot, because all are theory slides, like you cannot sit and write now in the last few minutes. So you just take a snapshot or pic, later you can sit and write in your notebook. Or you can mark it in your NCERT also. Okay. Additional points which is there, which is not there in your NCERT, you can write there itself in the side. No, African catfish are not banned. See, once when we are introducing a particular species, okay, that exotic species will increase in its population. You cannot ban, even if you're banning the introduction, the one which has been already introduced, no, that population will be causing the, that is, it will be eating away the other organisms. That's the problem. Now, water hyacinth, no, we are trying to eliminate it completely, but we are not able to do because it is having a fast method of reproduction. Second one, third slide. Fourth one. Fifth one. Sixth slide. This is sixth one. See, students, I am writing everything on the slide like as I am taking class for 6th and 7th. Okay, I am just not dictating. So please, you don't feel lazy to write it in your notebook. If you feel lazy, then I will also not write. Simply, I will give a lecture, I will dictate and I will go, right? So I need not to write everything on the slides. So all these are theory topics. Only concepts I have to like explain by writing on the slide. But for even for theory part also, I'm writing everything. So you also please write everything in your notebook. Don't feel lazy or don't think like why we should write everything in the notebook or it is there in your NCERT. Don't think like that. This is 8th one. Yes, if you are writing, then it is very good. I'm telling this for those who are not writing. I know many of you are not writing. Simply you are listening to the audio and many of you even you are not doing that. You are all out of focus. Fine. So we are not doing what you are doing there. Tenth one. See, this week your need portion, Sunday need portion is biodiversity and its conservation. And for next week, you will write both the chapters together, organism and population and also biodiversity. Okay. So whenever we write individual chapters in a particular unit, after that you will be writing together. So that's why, see, in the 5th unit, all your portions are over by this biodiversity. And in your 3rd unit also, all the chapters are over. Only in the 1st unit, we have left 2 chapters. That's why after this biodiversity, I'm going to deal with human reproduction and reproductive health so that your 1st unit will also get over. Then we can switch on to the 2nd unit and finally biotechnology 4th unit. Okay, 12th slide. 13th one. 14th one. So this invasion of foreign species, all the examples are very, very important. Okay. So please read all the examples. This is 15th one. Okay. Yes. So thank you so much. See you all tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll discuss about the extinction and conservation. Most probably tomorrow itself the lesson will get over or else I will complete on Wednesday. Okay. Thank you. Take care all of you.